Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you hear me loud and clear? Am I audible? Okay, so great. I welcome you all for today's orientation session of the AFM examination, which I hope you would be attempting it soon. And my name is Asad Ejaz, and I would be taking you along with this session, with this subject. Let me talk you a bit about myself, first of all. From the qualification perspective, I am a chartered accountant from England and Wales, and I'm also a fellow member of ACCA. As far as my teaching is concerned, I've been teaching for probably 18 years, I guess, because it's since 2007 I have been involved with it. During my tenure, I had the opportunity to mentor leading tutors and corporate professionals around the globe as well. Generally, my student consistently performs very good in the examination since they follow my instructions, which I would be giving you through so that you should also score good marks in your AFM examination. Right? So let's now talk about today's session plan. So today we will cover several key aspects of the course. So first we will discuss our teaching approach and how we will guide you, what sort of support are we going to provide you. We are going to discuss that. Next, we will review the exam structure, the paper structure, the paper pattern, etc. We will also examine the syllabus to ensure a thorough understanding of the subject matter. And then we are also going to discuss a weekly plan with you. After all that, we would finally conclude our session with a question and answer. So this is our today's agenda, right? So let's talk about our approach now. So to begin, it's essential to understand the key syllabus topics. What we have done is we have covered the key syllabus areas, the understanding areas through short videos rather than lengthy ones. Why we did that? Because if every concept has a small video, it will help you to master each key concept. Like, for example, how to incorporate tax in your investment, how to estimate the cost of debt, for example. These are few of the examples that you have already covered in your financial management subject. We request you to watch these videos very carefully, attentively. Rewatch any video if you have any confusion in it. And we would like to advise that you should follow a proper schedule of it. So make your proper study plan for that. Although one of these study plan is already suggested in the what we can say in your portal. However, feel free to create your own as well, because you know your schedule, you know your potentials, and that is where the eCampus will give you the flexibility, since all the pre-recorded lectures of the entire syllabus has already been provided. So it is flexible enough to make your own plan. We have also prepared notes for the subject, and I request you to adhere these provided notes. My personal recommendation would be to review these notes while you were watching the pre-recorded lectures. Not only that, I would recommend that you should create what we can say summaries on these notes. That will help you to what we can say better understand the key concepts, and also it will help you to retain the key points, which would be very important for you in the examination. Look, you see, understanding the concept would not do the job as a whole. You need to retain it by the day you reach to the examination, and making summaries would help you in it. If you have any question, then feel free to ask me through the email addresses that have already been shared with you. Now, ACC qualification is a demanding one, and simply knowing the subject area won't be enough. To pass an exam, consistent practice is very critical. For that, what we have done is we have provided practice question videos along with the pre-recorded lectures. So for every topic, once we cover the concept, there is an exam standard questions practice video. So you have to first of all watch them to understand how are we going to do the question and what is the examination approach we should take. We have also assigned you with the home assignment. So once you cover the topic, you cover the video of the question, what we expect is that you should do the home assignments. Please make sure that you complete the home assignments within the deadline so that it would be marked and appropriate feedback would be provided. For further assistance, for further practice, I personally recommend to use ACCA Study Hub, which is a very valuable resource. Then we would also have a live question and answer session planned for your convenience. Now, this is a wonderful opportunity to ask subject-related queries for you, and you can, what we can say, an additional support. We can also discuss areas which will help you to improve your exam performance. So that is how our complete eCampus study support system is going to work with you, right? So which means our key syllabus is based on 4 pillars, that is videos, study notes, then you practice it, and for the queries matter, there and extra support, there is a live practice or weekly live question and answer session, I must say. Right? Okay, now let's talk about the resources that we are going to use. Now, first of all, we are hoping that the upcoming examination of the AFM, we are going to succeed it with, of course, very good marks with flying colors. Now, that's a significant challenge as far as the AFM examination is concerned. So to overcome this challenge, we need the right resources to help you achieve these goals. For that, what are the key resources that you should be taking along? First of all, it is the pre-recorded videos that we have created for you. Then there are eCampus notes as well. Furthermore, a very important resource is the ACCA Study Hub. Now, it's a very good resource which is prepared by the ACCA body itself. This resource includes the study text as well as the revision kit. For AFM, a very important resource is your past examination papers. You can access them through ACCA. So both the ACCA Study Hub and the past papers are available to you through my ACCA login. So you can log into your my ACCA account and you can access both your ACCA Study Hub as well as your past examination papers through the practice platform they have made for you. Now, technical articles would also be found on the ACCA Global website, which can help you to review technical areas. By the way, these technical areas already would have been covered in the notes and in the recorded videos. However, the technical articles written in the examination section of the ACCA would give you the different perspective on the same topics. So this makes them a very valuable resource for you. Another important resource is the examiner reports, which is a wonderful resource since it will help you to understand what examiner expects to you and what you should be writing in your examination answer. Right? So these are the 6 key resources that you should be using to passing the AFM exam. By the way, is there any question up to now? Is there any resource that you want to add that we were using previous in any other subject? We can discuss on it. Otherwise, in my opinion, these are the 6 best resources which should be enough for you to pass your AFM exam with very good marks. Right? Okay, so let's move on. Let us now discuss the paper pattern. So first of all, the examination that we are going to cover is a 3 hour and 15 minutes. And your complete examination is divided into 2 sections. Now, one is section A. Section A constitutes of 50% of your examination, and it will have a single question. There's only one question in it. However, that question may have several requirements which you need to address. The remaining 50% is your section B, which contains 2 questions worth 25 marks each. Therefore, we must answer a total of 3 questions in the complete examination, 1 in section A and then 2 in section B. All these questions that we may examine in the paper would be split into 2 areas. That is technical, which carries 80% weightage, and professionals, which carry 20%. Which means in section A, out of 50 marks, 80%, that is 40% are technical, and 10 marks are professional. Similarly, in section B, out of 25 marks, 20 are technical and 5 are professional. Now, what are the professional marks? The professional marks are given to you on demonstrating communication skills, that is, presenting an answer as required. Another skill is evaluation and analysis, that is, providing an advice based on the evaluation and properly referencing the resources that you have used. For example, if a project is accepted, you must support your recommendation with appropriate calculations and arguments in the question. Then we have commercial acumen. That means demonstrating the commercial acumen to ensure that the advice is suitable for the company as per the scenario, as per the background that is given in the question. So it is more about relating your answer with the scenarios, the background information. Furthermore, we have skepticism. And it is when challenging the statements or estimates providing you in the exams. Further details on demonstrating on each professional skills during the examination is already available in the pre-recorded videos, which is part of your study plan. I strongly advise you to watch it very carefully because this skill constitutes 20% of your paper, and if you master that, then your chance of passing the AFM exam would be high. Right? Any question relevant to the paper pattern? Any question, guys? So everything is fine? No questions? Okay, let's now then discuss the subject matter, the syllabus. Now, to grasp this subject, the advanced financial management subject, I know the people, the candidates who are sitting right next to us has already covered their basics, so they may have the basic understanding of the role of a finance manager. But let's review it, let's revise it. You see, it is the relationship between the investors and the opportunities. Investor seeks returns on their investments while opportunity exists to generate those returns. So ideally, investor would fund into opportunities and generate returns. But you know, the real life is not that simple. It may not be possible. Ideal world, it could be, but practice in real life, it's not that simple, you know. Now, one reason is a lack of necessary skills. So, for example, if opportunity involves opening a restaurant, so investor may have the sufficient funds to open up the restaurant. However, they may not have the knowledge of the operations of a restaurant, that how are they going to run it. So, both of them is required. Funding is just one part of it. Another part is you need the right skills to uh, generate returns from these opportunities. Also, there could be chances that the investor may not have sufficient funds to open a restaurant. For example, an investor may have $20 million, but for the opportunity, they would be requiring $30 million. So there is a gap of $10 million. We call it funding gap. The funding gap, where the amount of finance is not completely available. Then there is a maturity gap. Now, what is a maturity gap? Sometimes the investor may have the funds to invest in the opportunity, but this funding, for example, is limited for a 5-year period. However, the opportunity requires the funding for 9 years. So that means the funds available are for the period of 5 years, whereas opportunity requires the funds for 9 years, and there is a gap of 4 years. The gap in terms of time is known as maturity gap. So the gap in terms of amount is funding gap, but in terms of time period is known as maturity gap. So you see, it's not that simple that an investor is going to directly invest in opportunities and generate the return. Now, these were the problems. These are the problems. Now, let's talk on the solution. Now, what is the solution for it? Now, a solution involves a company that will utilize various skills, bring together diverse investors to address funding shortfalls, and also manage the maturity gap. Therefore, funds will be transferred to the company, and then the company will use these funds in the opportunities. From these opportunities, company will generate returns, which it will then transfer to the investors. So this is the complete cycle that generally follows. Now, the question is, what is our role as a finance manager? So you see, investor will provide funds to the company. So it is, being a finance manager, our responsibility to arrange and manage it. So one of the tasks is arranging and managing the funds from the investor. From the company's perspective, we call it source of finance. Now, upon receiving the funds, investor expects return from it. Natural. This is a very natural one. The investors are investing in the company. Simultaneously, now they anticipate that the company will provide returns to them. So they expect returns. From the company's perspective, it is the minimum return they have to offer to the investor, which is known as the cost of financing or the cost of capital. Now, being a finance manager, it is our responsibility to estimate it and, as much as possible, try to manage it. Now, since from the investors, their company can generate millions of dollars financing, however, some of the funds needs to be allocated to address the daily operations of the business. For example, maintaining the inventory. You see, to maintain the inventory, the initial require cash to buy the inventory, which we eventually also will be released upon when you sell it. However, it will be stuck into complete cycle. So you make the payments to buy the inventory, then you get back the funds from the by selling it, but then you once again buy additional inventory for your next cycle. So it will be in the continuous loop. Now, this is known as working capital. Hence, it is the responsibility of a finance manager to manage the working capital for the projects or businesses. Now, the remaining funds, what would be the company do with the remaining funds that they have collected from the investor? They would try to invest it in the opportunities, isn't it? However, we must carefully evaluate the financial viability of these opportunities. So it is the responsibility of the finance manager to have a detailed evaluation or the assessment of the opportunities, and the evaluation would be financial one, by the way. We are only responsible for the financial evaluation, and non-financial is not our scope. The investment opportunity could be the acquisition of new businesses as well. And to do so, a valuation assessment of these businesses that we are going to acquire would be an important part. And once again, it appears that we are the responsible for conducting it. Not only assessing the value of the business, we also need to assess whether the possible acquisition is financially viable or not, or will it create the value for the shareholder or not. Finally, the company may have been engaged in both import and exporting activities, which involve transactions in foreign currencies. Now, given the inherent volatility in the exchange rates, which can significantly impact the company's finances, we must also manage the foreign exchange risk as well. So these are the rules which I have highlighted in the red. That is managing source of finance, managing the cost of capital, investment evaluation, working capital management, business valuation, and the foreign exchange risk management. These are the role of a finance manager, and also these are the key areas of our syllabus as well. So our syllabus would be surrounding around these topics. Right? Have you understood the rule? Have you understood the rule? Is there any question? Is there any question, by the way? Right now, I would advise that you should type any question on the in the chat box. I would read it and then I would address it. However, if you want to ask the question through your microphone, that is by speaking, I would let you allow these by the end of the session. So for that perspective, hold your questions right now, and then I would give you the opportunity to unmute the mic and ask the question. Understand? Okay, great. So now let's come to the syllabus. Since advanced financial management is the advanced version of the financial management, so the key concept would come from the financial management. Hence, first we will refresh the investment appraisal, which we have already studied. We will then revise the cost of capital concept, and then afterwards we will discuss a more advanced method for estimating it. So from the advanced portion, I can say the AFM topic, the AFM subject would start. Before that, it was all revision what we have already covered in the financial management paper. Then we will cover the advanced method of evaluating the investments. We will also cover the advanced techniques for the risk assessment in the investment appraisal. And then we will also discuss the international investments. International investment, by the way, means if the company is considering to invest overseas, so we need to see how are we going to evaluate these. These four topics combined will complete the investment appraisal section of the syllabus. So our next section would be acquisitions, and then we would move on to the business reorganization area. Afterwards, we would cover risk management, and in the risk management area, it has two risk management techniques, that is foreign exchange risk and the interest rate risk. Finally, there is a small topic to be covered, that is the dividend policy. So this is the complete area that you would cover while covering the AFM syllabus, and I have covered for each concept a detailed one, but since each concept is in a separate video, so you would find that each video is worth of 5-10 minutes. This will help you to remember the topic as well, as I have discussed earlier. So guys, this was my side. I have finished my presentation on the orientation session. So if you have any question, now this is the time. And if you prefer to ask using the microphone, please feel free so. You have the right to unmute the mic. However, I would request to make sure that you ask the questions clearly in spoken English and your surroundings are quiet as well. Because if there is this distortion around you, then our session would be disturbed. So please make sure that your surroundings are quiet. Right? So any question? Is there any question? As I can see, someone is typing the question. Yes, dear. The plan I have already told you that the plan is in the study room. In the portal, you have a study room in which a weekly plan is already provided. And also at several point of time, there will be a live question and answer sessions. So on that specific date, you will click on the live question and answer session, just like the way that you have joined today. Right? As far as dear the revision kit is concerned, you are talking about BPP or Kaplan revision kit, I guess. So as far as the revision kit is concerned, look at the AFM level. All the questions from the revision kit are come from one single source, and that is the past exam papers. So either you can directly use the past exam papers that is available to you on your My ACCA portal. Also, what you can do is you can use any revision kit. It doesn't matter whether it is Kaplan, BPP. By the way, I would recommend to use ACCA Study Hub revision kit because it would be available online for you and it is also free of charge. So you don't need to spend any extra penny on it. Right. So is there any question? Any more question? Okay, so if there isn't any, should we conclude our session? Okay, great. So finally, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you now have the understanding about the subject matter, and now you can start your AFM syllabus from today onward, I guess. If you have any query, as I stated earlier, you can contact me through the email or you can wait for the live question and answer session for my answer. And I hope that the support we provide would help you to pass the examination. I also expect that in my next live question and answer session, I would hear from you any queries related to the subject, and I would be very happy to support you in your journey to passing the exam. So thank you very much for joining today. Stay blessed and Allah Hafiz.